Good morning, everybody. Page 903, Commissioner's Office requesting the Board approve and execute the minutes for the meeting of October 1st, 2019. Motion, please.
So move. Second?
Commissioner DeBoer?
Yes.
Commissioner Spiller? Commissioner Lennon?
Yes. Okay. Commissioner's Office requesting the Board approve and execute the minutes for the meeting of October 8th, 2019. Motion, please.
So move. Second?
Commissioner DeBoer?
Yes.
Commissioner Spiller?
Aye.
Commissioner Lennon?
Aye. Okay. Jerry?
On October.
Do you have the dual one?
Yes.
There's two of them.
Okay. On October 23rd, I approved for the Department of Development Building, accepted the resignation of Patricia Harsmar, permit coordinator, to be effective October 15th, 2019. Job and Family Services acknowledged the following new hire appointment as the Director of Job and Family Services, complied with the Board of Commissioners recruitment and hiring procedure for Misty Gotham, Clerical Specialist 3, it's a replacement position, effective September 30th, 2019. For Transit, accepted the resignation of Deborah Abruzino, part-time driver, to be effective October 7th, 2019. For Water Resources, acknowledged and approved of the Ohio Water Development Authority Fund payment request number 4, $70,600, number 5, $34,584.40, and number 6, $61,370.50, and approved and executed payment request number 7 for technical services for the Sheridan Township wastewater treatment plant and sewer project Henning Road in the amount of $187.80. And then on October 25th, 2019, for Water Resources, approved and executed the Ohio Water Development Authority Fund repayment request number 8 for technical services for the Sheridan Township wastewater treatment plant and sewer project in the amount of $32,442.90.
Okay. Thank you, Jerry.
And then financials.
And then for financials, on October 24th, I approved the supplemental appropriations transfer from the Board of DD to move appropriations to cover a deficiency in one of their STRS payroll accounts.
Make that motion.
Morning, Adrian.
Good morning.
Financials.
Yes, today's financials include an appropriations transfer from Commissioner's operating transfers out to Planning Commission's contract services account to provide for the general plan encumbrance, and also from juvenile court detention home other expense to the Commissioner's miscellaneous detention home other expense due to the court transferring responsibility for this to the Commissioner's office. A cash transfer from the Board of DD out of their operating fund into their residential services fund. Among the encumbrances are travel requests from the Commissioner's office to attend the 2019 CCAO Winter Conference and the CLCCA Winter Meeting, from Common Pleas to attend a specialized docket annual conference and also the 2019 Winter Conference, and from the Public Defender's Office to attend a Color of Justice seminar. Purchase order from Water Resources to the safety company for a new jet vacuum sewer line cleaning truck, which is replacing the one that was totaled in the accident. Among the vouchers are $346,357.50 from the engineers to Roniak Paving for asphalt resurfacing of Wilson Mills Road sections A through C, and $32,442.90 from Water Resources to GPD for engineering services related to the Sheridan Township wastewater treatment plant and collection system project. And finally, revenue certifications from the engineer to recognize additional revenue being received from the gasoline excise tax, and also the Sheriff's Department to recognize additional money that was received in their 911 fund.
Could you clarify the appropriation transfer from juvenile court detention home, other expense to the Commissioner's miscellaneous detention home, other expense due to court transferring responsibility? You know what this is?
This was where the court was not gonna pay the juvenile detention, the quarterly amounts, the commissioners were
Okay.
taking over making those payments. It's
Oh.
coming, it came out of their, what
Out
was
of-
their budget, brought back to our budget, so.
It's all still under the general fund, it's
It's all
just
general.
different departments.
Okay.
Going from juvenile
So
court to
that's
the
what
Commissioner's
that's,
office,
okay.
yes. As we continue to look at options in
Yes.
regards to that, so.
Very good. Any other questions or comments? Get a motion to approve?
Second.
Commissioner DeBoer?
Yes.
Spiller?
Aye.
Mr. Lundey?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Did you guys provide a whole
Okay, so, item number 6, we have the guest here today, Judy Zamlin-Spots. She's going to present some information regarding an event called Ride with Valor that'll be on November 16th, 2019, happening in Chesterland, and this will be supporting our local veterans. Good morning, Judy.
Hi, good morning. May I take a
Yeah,
seat?
sure.
Thank you. I'm not a professional speaker, and my son timed this. I want to be concise, so I have notes. I want to just be clear, and I don't want to hold anyone up.
No, I'll take your time.
Oh, thank you. On Saturday, November 16th, 2019, Ride with Valor is coming to Geauga County and partnering with veteran support organizations and civic allies. The purpose of this event is to raise awareness of the participating programs and to seek donations. Ride with Valor helps veterans and their widows find housing solutions. Their primary mission is to assist aging and disabled veterans with home upgrades and improvements that allow them to live independently and safely. There is no program in Geauga County that does this. Ride with Valor founder Scott Rhoda has also invited Honor Flight to participate. Honor Flight Cleveland's mission is to fly World War II veterans to Washington, D.C. to visit their respective memorial. That memorial was built 60 years after the war ended, so many of them did not have a chance to go. Their primary focus is World War II veterans because they are our nation's most senior heroes. When space is available, they include the Korean War veterans and Vietnam veterans. Another category of veterans they serve are those who are recently diagnosed with terminal illness. The entire program is funded by private donations. Other highlights of our Saturday, November 16th event: the VA Vet Center will be there to outreach to veterans. Veterans History Project is coming. Congressman David Joyce called and asked if they could participate in the program. We said absolutely. And we have helped the Veterans History Project connect with our Geauga Library, and they're going to start working and reaching out to veterans to tell the history and story of our veterans. VA National Cemetery, Jesse Getz will be on site. The Home Depot Foundation will be there. They work closely with Purple Heart. The Patriot and the Beast Hauler will be there. The Patriot is a traveling F-450 tribute to our veterans and military, and the Beast Hauler is a traveling F-350, a tribute to our first responders. We're reaching out. We have a lot of support. We're asking veterans, their families, first responders and their families to come out and take a picture with these trucks. Chester Township Police Department will be doing all the cooking for us. They'll be grilling hot dogs and we have refreshments. And the Newbury High School Marching Band, the Black Knights, will be there. That's significant. They're merging with our school, and it's important that they were really excited about coming out and becoming a part of this community event. I'm here today to ask the commissioners to please consider attending the event and to help us outreach. We're not marketing experts, and we don't know if you're allowed to do this, but if you could share this information with employees or departments. You may have departments that could use this organization as a resource to help a veteran they cannot help. Most importantly, the reason that I'm here is to tell you, veterans do not ask for help. I worked for the VA for more than 11 years for the Office of Veteran Affairs. I am a United States Marine. I'm very involved in the community, and it is rare for a veteran to ask for help. In Geauga County, our veterans did not seek enrollment in VA healthcare. Majority of them are now precluded from care because they missed a 2003 deadline. And if you ask them why they didn't, they said they didn't want to take care away from other veterans. Veterans don't ask for help, but I'm telling you, the reason I'm here today is they're asking for help. Any questions?
No, do you, is this their first annual?
This is the first time they're coming out
Okay,
for a
yep.
fundraiser. And the reason we're doing it is they come from Elyria, no one else. I worked with Purple Hearts and other organizations, but those organizations, they're amazing, but they are territorial.
Mhm.
They would not come into Lake, they were Lake County and Cuyahoga, not Geauga County. This organization is helping a number of veterans in Geauga County, and they offered to help me. I qualified, I declined to help, but I am gonna help them raise funds to help other veterans.
So this is a local, born out of Northeast Ohio, 501c3?
Yes, it
Yeah,
is.
okay,
And they
good.
have the 501c3 document.
Yeah, I was just looking, yeah, great.
Also, this flyer, we are accumulating sponsors, which is great. It will be updated and finalized on Wednesday. I don't know how to do that. There's a veteran who's doing it for me. And so when I have that on Wednesday, if I may forward it to you. And then after that, if we could ask you please to share that.
Sure.
We need publicity. We need people to come out. We're looking for people to come out and say, you know, I want to give $5, I want to give $10. I support Ride with Valor. I support Honor Flight. Thank you for allowing me to appear today.
Great, thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you.
Appreciate
Nothing
it.
else alone.
Thank you.
Got, Treasurer Hitchcock.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
How are you, sir?
Very good. How's
Good.
everybody?
Very good, thank you.
So, my chief deputy's afraid to come up.
I see that.
Yeah,
Why that is.
yeah,
can come up.
I know.
No, there's only 2 seats.
yeah,
There are lots of seats up here, Caroline.
Yeah.
So it's my,
yeah,
I'm embarrassed that
yeah.
that the commissioners were not able to approve the investment relationship that I had thought was pretty much a slam dunk because of the expertise provided by this new firm that I am trying to hire.
Mhm.
So I asked Mr. Nelson to come up to introduce himself to the three of you so you can understand that he's very much of a professional and he's exactly the kind of person Geauga County wants to have. So, let me only say that we spent 21 years in an investment relationship with Productive Portfolios. They were subsequently purchased by Meter Investments. Meter Investments is the 600-pound gorilla. I don't like 600-pound gorillas. I like entrepreneurial companies. And that's exactly the kind of thing that we were looking for when I decided to change investment advisors. So I'm pleased to introduce Ryan. He's going to give you a very short bio right away.
Great.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Commissioners, for the time today. My name is Ryan Nelson, and I'm a co-founder of Red Tree Investment Group. And this marks my 25th year in the investment business. In the past 19 years, have been assisting public funds management across Ohio through a variety of different firms. 5 years ago, my partner Jennifer Trowbridge and I decided we wanted to be independent, and we purchased our way out of a larger organization and became an independent firm. We currently manage over $4 billion here in the state of Ohio in public funds. We assist on over 250 public fund clients across the state of Ohio. The county has an investment policy statement that we adhere to as it relates to investing funds. The county follows Chapter 13535 as it relates to investing funds. And there are 3 main investment objectives, and that's safety of principal, liquidity, and then a market rate of return as we're making investment decisions. So we are happy to be here, and thank you very much, Chris, for the introduction to the commissioners. So thank you very much.
So it was previously my understanding for these many decades that we've been doing this with the previous advisor, that because these were professional services, they did not have to come be approved by you guys. The Treasury Council advised us it would be a good practice for us to do that. So I didn't think there would be any repercussions on making this change because it's my recommendation. This is what the office does, so we are here to move forward.
Okay. Very good. Any questions or comments, anybody?
I'm fine.
Pretty straightforward stuff.
Mhm.
Okay.
Do you have a question?
I think the public has some questions, and I think in the case of this public attendee, Diane Jones, I was able to get a copy of the 14-page contract and the paperwork from U.S. Bank, as well as the documentation from the Secretary of State. And I think, outside of raising the questions why the trade name was canceled, and then on the same day that I asked questions and provided documentation regarding your organization on October 8th, I noticed that someone went online to pay $300 to get the trade name reinstated on that very date of October 8th. I have a couple of other questions, but Mr. Nelson is here, so maybe he can explain that.
Sure. Okay, Chris?
Yeah.
Thank you. First of all, thank you very much for bringing it to our attention that our trademark had expired with the Secretary of State. And that is a renewal every 5 years.
Correct, but yours was revoked in June.
It wasn't, it was...
It was canceled.
It was canceled. And it is, it has to be renewed every 5 years. It was sent to our old address. And it was something that just simply was forgotten. It's a $39 fee.
Except you paid $300 to get it
So thank you for
reinstated.
bringing it to our attention. As soon as it was brought to our attention, we called the Secretary of State's office and asked them immediately, how can we have this remedied? And they said, well, absolutely, you can have it remedied today for the $39 fee plus an expedited fee for $300. So we wanted it fixed, not only for Geauga County, but for all of our other business out there.
Is it true, I saw some other paperwork, is it true that you have only been affiliated with Red Tree / Kindred Spirits since December of 2018? Is there a reason for that paperwork?
Me personally or the firm?
Yeah, you as the statutory agent.
I started the firm in 2014. I don't know what you're referring to there. Something could have possibly changed with changing names on compliance or something like that, but there's two co-founders, it's myself and Jennifer Trowbridge.
So how many employees are there with Red Tree and Kindred Spirits?
I'm not sure you have to answer that, Ryan.
Maybe not, except we're talking, I think, someone tell me how much money is involved in this investment? How much money, okay, treasurer, how much, what kind of investment are we talking about for those of us who, come to these meetings and are interested in that kind of thing?
Ms. Jones, you've been a regular attendee, and you heard me 2 months ago introduce this firm, and you had no questions or concerns.
Okay,
This
except I
really-
did have
I'm
concerns
sorry.
when I checked.
May I finish?
Certainly, but you can be polite.
I asked if I may finish.
Certainly.
So it is my recommendation to the commissioners that we engage this firm. Some questions were raised. They delayed affirming my decision. So is this a decision for the commissioners, or is this for you to question the firm that I am hiring?
This is not an interrogation. This is just trying to find out all the information that should be available. And I think if we're talking about a $26,000 a year investment fee, which I'm not sure if that's based on percentage of return, Mr. Nelson has indicated that he'd like to have a rate of return, but a rate of return can be 1/100% and still be a rate of return. So I guess the concern here is there are just a lot of red flags, I think, that were raised, and they came primarily from checking the Secretary of State's page. And, these are areas of negligence that I would not expect with a company that handles $4 billion in funds, but reports to the not the Better Business Bureau, Dun & Bradstreet Street, that their income was $201,000 and some change.
So you're suggesting that I'm hiring a negligent firm? I don't appreciate that.
I didn't suggest anything. I'm asking for clarification.
No, you used the word negligent.
Why are you
the
trying to
next-
intimidate her?
Yeah,
Why-
I mean, forget it, buddy.
Why-
I mean, I
Calm
did the
down.
research.
Yeah, you're being really rude to Diane.
If someone can answer my questions, I don't have a problem. But right now, I've got a 14-page contract, a Dun & Bradstreet report, and a number of questions which I think deserve answering, in as much as there was at least one issue, maybe more, that was brought up. So if someone can answer those.
On the certificate of liability, the insurance has lapsed.
That is not correct. Perhaps the one that we provided a few months ago, but it is up to date, and I do have those documents here.
Also, I'd like to mention, I have a company that has a trademark, and they send me a letter 2 months before it expires. It doesn't just, they don't just send you a letter and say, send your money. They give you plenty of warning.
And it did go to our previous address. It was not sent to our new address. We moved 2 years ago. If you can check our SEC registration,
Well,
there's no issues there.
But there's no issues, period. There are
We
no
missed a
assets
$39
listed.
fee to the Secretary of State, and it was remedied as soon as it was.
Are you chartered financial analysts?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you certified financial planners?
I'm a chartered financial
Pardon?
analyst.
Pardon me?
I'm a chartered financial analyst.
Okay. The reason I ask is my brother has been works for the oldest financial advisory company in the country, formed in 1860. And I sent down all the information about your company to him, and he was not that impressed. He suggested a local company or somebody like Vanguard or Fidelity. Yeah, he's a first vice president at that important company, and he did not think this was such a good idea. And I'm amazed at why you're being so defensive.
Because this is my decision. I've been doing this a long time.
Yeah, but it's a decision with our money.
It is indeed. That's why I get elected to do this, to be responsible for the entire county.
It just seems odd that all the paperwork was done in September. The first payment to them was supposed to be October 1st from U.S. Bank. And I'm curious about why the money would come from the bank rather than the county, like everything else is paid.
The bank is not our fiscal agent. It holds all of our assets that are in the investment portfolio. We also have millions of dollars in other banks, including U.S. Bank.
Okay, but the documents were all prepared on September 23rd.
That's when I wanted this to begin. It's been now
Yeah,
a month.
It seems like you did it backwards. Wouldn't you come first and say, I'd like this company? You know, can I get the paperwork ready instead of getting it? I mean, it looks like you thought it was going to be a slam dunk.
And it should have been, because these are professional services being
This is too
chosen by
small of a
me.
company to handle the money for the second largest county in the state of Ohio,
We're the second largest?
per capita.
We're the fourth largest.
No, we're the second largest.
We used to be the first, but that's no longer the case and hasn't been for over 10 years.
Delaware is the first.
Yes, they are.
We're the second.
Well, that may be in your world.
Don't be insulting.
I'm just telling you the facts. This is what I do, deal with the facts. And I
So
deal
do
with the
I.
money. And the fact that we're engaging with a company that is more entrepreneurial and handles $4 billion will benefit our county and all of the taxpayers.
When your deputy was here and made a presentation, she said that they are handling other counties in the state. Can you give me the names of the other counties in the state that they're handling?
I can certainly answer that. We assist on Defiance County, Paulding County, Van Wert County, Pike County, Benton County, Hocking County, and Monroe County.
Anything big?
We,
These are small counties.
I can also name many other entities that we work with across the state of Ohio
Franklin,
that
Cuyahoga.
have more assets than Geauga County. So we work with a lot of school districts, work with a lot of cities, we work with a lot of agencies of the state. Again, this is our only focus, and we don't focus on managing money for individuals or companies. Our focus is managing public funds, and I've been doing that for 19 years.
Excuse me, I see that Caroline Mansfield is here, and we were here when she gave her presentation, and she volunteered during her presentation that she had talked to 2 or 3 other counties who gave, this is not her words, but they gave complimentary reports about this company. And the question becomes, why was there a reference only to 2 or 3 counties? I mean, that is sort of not real complimentary to your company if, it handles $4 billion and she talked to 2 or 3 counties that were satisfied. It's a little bit disconcerting and a little bit confidence shaking for those of us who have witnessed some confidence shaking events in the last 5 years with this county. And we're sort of watching. So, and I think that's not only our privilege, but our responsibility.
How many,
I didn't speak with them. I said that Mr. Hitchcock spoke with them. I'm sorry.
Whatever, the reference was to 2 or 3 counties, and they were not identified, just 2 or 3 counties. Wouldn't it
And
be?
that's not the way you do background on a company. You don't call and just say, hey, how they doing? You actually run backgrounds on them.
and I did at the various treasurer conferences that I've attended, that Mr. Nelson has attended as well, and that's how you, through networking, I determined that this firm would be suitable for our county. How many references did I actually run? I made 3 phone calls and talked to 3 county treasurers. They were all very positive. I don't think I needed to waste any more of my time or the taxpayers' time to chase down looking for anybody that had something bad to say. Nobody had anything bad to say about this firm.
Judy Samlin Spots, I just want to say that in light of the Decatur devastation to this county, and you served on that board while that money was...
What board was that?
The ADP board. Do you not serve on the ADP board?
Every elected official serves on that board.
Thank you. We have a right to ask questions.
Of course you have the right to ask questions, but
We don't have a full explanation for what happened there, so we are very concerned.
I think you need to talk to Auditor Glia, who signed every contract that authorized every payment to a fictitious company.
We have that
That had nothing to
information
do with the
already.
ADP board.
Of course it did. The ADP board's supposed to overlook all this.
Not the office of the auditor. That's a different individual who's duly elected by the citizens.
ADP board members questioned the purchase of pencils on that committee. You had the right. You were not vigilant.
Well, let's try and stay on the subject here, regarding this agreement and contract. If there's any other questions related to that, now would be the time to ask them. But I do have one question, and I guess from what I understand, this is purely an advisory role that you'll be taking?
That is correct.
So there will be no trades from your business?
That is correct. We would
Okay.
serve as an investment,
Yeah.
what's seen as a non-discretionary investment advisor, meaning that we have
Okay.
discussions with the treasurer's office before any investment decisions are made.
Okay, and your fee structure is based on what? Just
It is a flat
fee?
structure.
Okay, yeah. And is that based on the percent, on the dollar amount that the
It
county?
is just a flat fee structure.
Okay.
It's not based on,
Okay.
the assets, nor is it based on a performance base.
Okay,
And frankly, we're getting a bargain.
yeah.
We're saving money from what we've been paying the previous advisor.
Mhm. Yeah, and what was the firm that we were using before? Were they
Leader
doing-
Investments.
Okay, and they were doing similar type of advisory, but we're getting a better rate and a little more attention, is what
Yeah.
you're saying, yeah? Or a
Far,
lot,
far better
Yeah,
firm
okay.
for our county.
okay. Diane, do you have another question? or-
I'm still curious, my one question has not been answered, and that is, if it's a $26,000 yearly structure, and that's up to you how you determine it, what kind of portfolio value are we talking, $26,000 a year? Particularly if there are no trades involved.
And
What-
why do we need them?
What are you asking, what size of the portfolio?
What is the value of the portfolio?
$64.4 million is the current value of the investment portfolio. We also hold $23.2 million in cash. Some of that cash will be going to pay taxes.
Mhm. Okay,
Wow.
okay.
Okay.
All right. Hearing no other questions, would you like to read number 7, please?
The Treasurer's Office is requesting the Board approve and execute the Red Street Investment Group Investment Management Agreement, Kindred Spirits Investment Management LLC, to act as an advisor, provide advice and supervision for Geauga County's investment portfolio, and acknowledge the custody account application, Red Tree Investment Group and U.S. Bank, on recommendation from County Treasurer Christopher Hitchcock.
So move. Second?
Commissioner Borak?
Yes.
Commissioner Spudler? Commissioner Lennon?
Aye. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you.
Have a nice day.
Yep, thanks for coming in. Okay,
Jerry is the next one for Dave.
Dave, okay. He's not here today.
This is the agreement with Great Lakes Growers. They're consolidating some of their loans, so they want us to subordinate the one loan of $199,640 to the overall loan. The portion that's being subordinated is just the portion that's associated with the land. We are still maintaining our first position with regards to the equipment and the business assets.
Okay, and this is just on that one loan, not
Yes.
all of them?
Correct. The other ones actually, are actually being, what's the term I'm looking for? Credited.
I know what you mean.
Yeah,
Yeah.
by land that isn't Great Lakes, that isn't under this Great Lakes Growers. it's
Okay.
a different Great Lakes Growers property.
Okay. All right, if you could read 8, please.
The Department of Development is requesting the Board approve and execute the subordination agreement, real estate mortgage with Farm Credit Mid-America in regards to Great Lakes Growers LLC, Broadview Avenue LLC, securing a new loan in the amount of $2,895,000, keeping the revolving loan fund loan of $199,640 in first position on all business assets, machinery, and equipment on said premises.
I so move. Second?
Commissioner Borak?
Yes.
Commissioner Spudler?
Aye.
Commissioner Lennon?
Aye. Thank you. Okay, number 10, or 9, I'm sorry.
Steve.
Steve.
Good morning.
Oh, Steve.
Good morning. Good morning.
Yeah. How are you, sir? Good morning.
Morning, Christine. So, as part of the ongoing process with meeting the findings and orders issued by the EPA, we have 2 resolutions to present this morning. The first one, 19153, ratifying the plans and specifications for the Chardon Township wastewater treatment plant and sewer project in the Geauga County Sanitary Sewer District, and ratifying the character and termini thereof, boundaries of the assessment district, and the tenant assessments and estimate costs for the project. That's the first resolution. Do you want me to read the second resolution also, Christine?
We
Okay.
have to do the first one first.
Okay. Okay. Any questions, comments?
Make that motion. Second.
Commissioner Borak?
Yes.
Commissioner Spudler?
Aye.
Commissioner Lennon?
Yes.
The second half for today is the resolution 19-154, determining to proceed with the construction of the Chardon Township wastewater treatment plant and sewer project to provide sanitary service to properties in the Berkshire Heights subdivision in Chardon Township in the Geauga County Sanitary Sewer District.
So move.
Commissioner Borak?
Yes.
Commissioner Spudler?
Aye.
Commissioner Lennon?
Aye.
Do we need to fix the bond or not?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Do we need to fix the bond or not? Or
Can we question? Do we have a question?
Yeah, there's questions out here. This is Charles DeSillo, 10973 Helmet Drive. The opposition to this project was over 80% from the community. And we're just going ahead and ratifying this?
It's part and parcel of the process. We've had conversations, the process moving ahead to meet the legal findings and orders. There's a 10-day comment period following this.
Well, explain that. So a 10-day comment period to the...
To file an appeal.
With the probate court?
Right. And that's the institution that handles that.
Okay.
But it has to be based on the same criteria from the public meeting, the boundaries, the necessity,
Okay, so all of the thing that all the opposition, all the work that we
we
did
have
in the community.
it, we have it, and actually we've delayed this for 2 weeks, maybe 3, moving forward, and we've contacted several offices, Sheriff Brown's office, to look for funding, and process of reapproaching the EPA to see if there's any alternative. But right now, we're still subject to the findings and orders, and we have to move that process along to meet the deadline of the findings and orders, or be fined.
Okay.
So I guess at this point, the next step, as far as way that we have been made aware is you guys have to go for the probate court to take this next, to handle the next step of this.
So now we need to get an attorney, is that correct?
I don't know if it's, Gary, what do you?
I mean, you don't need an attorney to file something with the courts.
Well, most of us are not as bright as that. I think we need to get a legal attorney here. I think we need an extension of this program till we have a chance to meet as homeowners and decide what our next motion is gonna be. We just had a meeting 2 weeks ago? And we voiced our objection to this. And I think we're not bright, okay? We're not brilliant people in that neighborhood. But now we've got Munson Township involved with the golf course who wants to put up 20 houses.
No, that is not happening.
Oh, they can't do it, no, unless they get in on the deal with us. And you people have met with them privately, apparently, because we weren't invited to that meeting, and made a deal with them.
No, we made no deal with regards to building houses.
Oh, you're gonna hook them in, aren't you?
No, they're not
They
being
have-
looked
they-
at.
they- The golf course.
What did the Maple Leaf have in it?
Could be tied in, but they have to pay their fair share.
How much are they
and They have to
paying?
pay for their extension all the way over to the clubhouse.
How much are they paying?
That's yet to be determined, because they haven't.
Well, you
they've expressed
determined
it-
our cost.
But they've expressed an interest to tie in.
I don't want them in that system. I
Theirs
want
is gonna
our
be when
system,
it happens.
you're charging us $28,000 a house.
It should be 42.
You know what our cost is, how come we don't know what their cost is?
Because they're not tying in at this time. They're not required to tie in under.
But
the-
you're allowing
Yeah.
them to tie in. What are they putting towards this project?
Nothing at this time.
Nothing.
But when they do tie in, they'll be responsible for their portion of the cost.
And then do we get a rebate?
No, because their portion of the cost is already being borne by our department.
We need time to get ourselves an attorney and get ourselves organized and get to the courts with this system.
Yeah.
There's other areas,
Sir.
Avon for one, and there's, who's the other one?
Olmsted.
Olmsted Falls, they're doing what you're trying to ram down our throats, okay?
The county's not trying to ram this down the
And
throat. This is the Ohio
they've capped it at
EPA.
$12,000 for each household.
Sir, this has been going on for 6 years. I'm sure
I
you're
know it
aware.
has, and so is everybody else's that's
right.
involved.
I mean,
okay?
this is not, we're not taking any delight
No,
and
but all of a
pleasure in
sudden
this.
it's on the front burner.
But this is the Ohio.
You laid low with it. I have an alternative
We have not
plan.
laid low. This thing we've been trying to find every avenue to try and,
What's 1 month gonna hurt for us to get our act together?
we have deadline, the Ohio EPA has deadlines on the county,
And-
where we're gonna start getting fined.
Yeah, EPA, we never see them.
No,
No, they're hiding.
and I encourage you to take this to the court.
I'm all for
Yeah.
that, but we need time to talk to our neighborhood.
Mhm.
And we gotta get a meeting hall so we can get our people together. Because we don't want to discuss it in your domain over here, because you guys are all for it, so.
No, we're
No,
not.
we're
I don't
No,
under,
no,
that-
no.
that's
You
a
gotta-
When
that's-
certain
misunderstanding.
thing
not
across
true.
with a high buck and you're ready to vote in favor of everything.
This is, again.
That
this-
is totally not true.
Yeah,
that we
you're
are in
misrepresenting
favor of
what this
That's-
board
that
has
is-
done. And I don't think you've been
We're asking for a
paying
month
attention for the
delay.
last 6 months either. So, you know, this
You wanna take over?
thing, we have not been promoting this. This is not something.
Right.
Jerry and Water Resources and now Steve, now the new director, have exhausted every avenue to try and find grant relief, to find different ways to pay for this. They've searched up and down. They have fought the Ohio EPA. I don't know if you know the history of how this thing even launched off the ground, but it was
I know
Jerry,
the whole
Travesty.
history.
yeah,
It was a
yeah,
travesty
yes,
the way,
yeah,
the way it happened.
yeah.
Steve,
And this is
you've done a lot of great work, and I appreciate all your hard work. Problem is this, from the onset, from the very beginnings, this was mismanaged until Steve got involved. Steve is doing a great job. I have no problem with that. But this was mismanaged from the get-go. And we have to rely on our local government to be our voice, and fight our battles to the Ohio EPA. I know that there are state laws that are in place that supersede county laws and everything else.
Right.
But there has to be an option. There had, to the findings of the 5 or 6 test sites were localized around the immediate area. They didn't test the whole development, but with one broad brushstroke, EPA came in and said, we're just gonna do this. And the previous director and the previous people that were taking care of this rolled over and played dead. And said, sure, come on in EPA, we'll let you do your orders.
I don't think that,
I don't think that's
that's
quite true,
not
but-
fair. No,
No.
no, that's not a clear representation.
Just remember that the Ohio EPA is the executive agency for the federal EPA, so they have jurisdiction of Ohio on behalf of the federal EPA. So we're complying with that, and to be honest with you, if we were rushing it through, the original deadline, this plant and everything was supposed to be completed this past July.
Mhm.
And there was no way we were going to meet that, so we extended the deadline out to the end of January 2021, which gave us, some time to breathe and trying to address the issue. But, the process as it stands within revised code has to move along. No one up here takes delight. I mean, it's
Steve-
not us
Steve,
that's...
is there any way, what is the deadline from the filing court, just so to be clear?
10 days, I believe.
The next 10 days? I mean, I hate to put the onus on you, but that's what I would be doing, is get this thing into,
We need to
Make-
have a meeting. We
Yeah.
can't let this go forward until the neighborhood gets together and talks about this
right.
on what our next course of action should be.
Listen, and as far as the whole part of you saying you couldn't have a meeting here, we will accommodate you guys, no problem, to
Yeah.
have a meeting place here. We're not working against you, and I hope you understand that. I mean, Steve and I had a conversation with this 2 weeks ago. He's as frustrated as every one of you are also, because our backs are up against the wall. But what we're going to we're putting ourselves in a situation that we're going to end up getting sanctioned with these fines, and pretty much they are a situation that they're non-fightable, and it becomes a situation we're using basically taxpayers' dollars now to basically pay these fines that we have no say in, and it's listen, this is the problem, and I think that I think it's pretty clear of a lot of this resonates over the damage that we had over the prior administration of 8 years of a lot of control that they have continued to give the EPA to control our lives. You know what I mean? And it's a situation where once the damage is done, this is the end result, that they have the ability to basically control every step of this function. So I just want you to know, there's not one guy up here that is not understanding and supporting of you guys, but our hands are tied. And
Who had the meeting with the Legend Lakes Golf Course? Where
There
that
was no
held?
meeting. I think what you're interpreting is the property that was purchased to put the plant on.
Not just the plant, they had an attorney and everybody. You guys met with them someplace.
The attorney is,
Todd Peterson.
yeah, Todd Peterson represents the owner of that parcel who
Yeah,
owns.
they're
I think he's an owner, isn't he? He's an owner, he
Part
owns.
owner,
Yeah.
Okay, but that was part of the real estate purchase.
Yeah, and what was discussed at the meeting?
The purchase price and getting the property appraised and tearing down the burned down
And about the
property.
20 homes?
No, never talked to him
Munson
about.
won't let him put the 20 houses up because
Sir,
of the
I mean,
sewer
you're-
issue.
That's old news.
They're not-
No,
yeah.
it's not
old news.
parceled off.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
pointing it out.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
all.
Yeah,
That
no,
might be
there's
something
there's
that
no
was taken
plan
up
for
with
any
Munson.
20
That was
houses to be
Yes, there
tied
is.
into that plan.
That was something that was taken by the golf course to go, went to Munson Township to see if that was gonna be a feasible option for them.
What's
They
the
could
road,
put in houses.
what's the road they're putting in?
Where's
What
the?
road?
What road?
There's a road cut in off of Fowler Mills, back in that direction.
Yeah, back in there.
They've been laying,
Yeah, I saw that too, that I see,
Asphalt
because I
grindings
passed on
in
our
there.
way in here, they put asphalt grindings on there, I don't know what that is. You know, we could call Munson and they would probably be able to give you a better indication, but that's a, you know, perfect situation there. That Munson is actually responsible for that. We really don't know a lot what the townships do within, you know, within their townships, of what variances they give, what they allow to do. But I know where you're talking about, exactly right there on the corner by Thwing and,
Right.
Fowler's Mill.
My concern and fear for the county is that the Ohio EPA and the feds are kind of waiting in the wings, waiting for a lot of these. We have, you're not this is the tip of the iceberg, I feel. There's multiple pockets throughout this county where they're gonna wanna do the exact same thing.
Same thing, yeah.
And,
Then why don't we get the whole county
Yeah.
together and do it all at one time?
yeah, well,
seriously, I mean, we
Yeah.
have to be able to stand up.
Yeah.
If the EPA had their way, they'd sewer everything.
Yeah.
And to the cost that's egregious. I mean,
Yeah.
It would
it's-
basically, it would shut our county down, and they could care less.
Right. That's the
There'd
problem.
be an uproar though.
The thing is in our community, we don't fall under the typical, most of the residents of our community are retirees on fixed income.
Yeah.
When I walked around with the opposition letters, I met a lot of my neighbors, and I've lived there for 20 years, and I've never met all of
Right.
them. But I met a lot of great people, and they're scared because they can barely afford their medications,
Yep.
barely afford to heat their homes. They're keeping it at 60 degrees in the wintertime because they can barely afford to heat their homes.
and we've got a, you know, I see all those letters of plea and it's, it is frustrating. We've heard you, and I have a file with all of your requests for us to do something. But like Ralph said, I feel like we truly have our hands tied on this. From a county government standpoint, I mean, us as elected officials, I mean, we could stand in your corner and vocally support you, but as far as any legal motions, I think we've exhausted them to try and find a way to help, and
Why is-
financially.
Why is the EPA not here? Ever. They just
Yeah,
write
yeah,
it,
they don't.
but they don't see how it affects the people when they
And
write
they're
their
not
orders.
elected officials either.
Yeah, and
No.
they could care less. To be quite honest with you, they're cowards, you know? Like, you know, we're here, you know, I was at your meeting before, it's a situation, we'll be the face, you know, of the position, you know, and we don't have a problem telling you, you know, this is where we're at, we support you, and we don't have a problem, just like Tim said, to stand up and, you know, verbally tell them that we don't agree with this. But it's a situation you can't, I mean, Jerry dealt with this for a lot of years, Steve's dealing with it now. You try to deal with the EPA, it's a hiding game is what it is. And they basically submit their orders and that's it.
Who do we get a hold of, Ralph, to get the meeting room? How do you go about that?
We can
So-
arrange to get that.
We can, yeah, we'll arrange it. This is Christine, our clerk.
You
If
see
you
her?
call Christine, you know, here at the office, or call Steve, either one of us, we'll make, you know, this room might be a little small, but
Yeah.
we'll make the building
You
8
saw it was
available for
over
you
there
guys, no
before.
problem.
Yes.
Yeah, so just if you get a hold of Christine, and she'll make the arrangements for you, it's that simple.
You're at,
I'm here.
you're right here, okay, all right,
Yeah.
so.
As I stated before, when I met with the EPA, they pretty much told me, too bad, we're gonna do it anyway.
So it doesn't matter what we do, it's
They
going to
said,
happen,
they
so we
said,
might as
because I
well
talked to them, I said,
suck it up and.
I have a septic system. I said I've had it independently tested. It works fine as designed. It's a newer system.
Ours is
And
too.
and I said, and they said, well, you might have that. And I said, well, I have a permit as long as my system functions as designed. I have no problems. They said, yeah, but we have Ohio Revised Code that states if there's sewers put in, you have to connect within 1 year or you'll be fined.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So they pretty much are screwing us.
And here's the other part of this too, is I'll tell you, like, I think you need to get with, and I don't have a problem reaching out to, our senators and our representatives here within the state, because ultimately, those laws are really not something that we have the authority of passing or changing or doing anything with, but they are. And I think that they that they need to be well aware of the situation if they aren't already. But they should be here also, to be quite honest with you.
Yes.
Well, last night I had Channel 3, I did an interview with Channel 3 about this, and they'll be broadcasting it on at 6 o'clock this evening. How do we help you as our elected officials?
I think
How do we
exactly
help
what you guys are doing right now in strength in numbers, because I hate to say it, but there's too many times when you approach these situations and you just have one mouthpiece. They don't take it serious. When there's a whole community of people like this, that it makes a difference. And I can tell you, being here almost 8 years, this is really the very first issue, that second issue actually, when I first came in, the whole heroin epidemic, that was an outpour of support because it was affecting so many people with kids dying. But this here has been really the second largest that I've seen of a community getting together to pursue something. And I think a lot of it too, credit to you and everybody else, but you definitely, I know you put a ton of work in going to all these homes and trying to do a good job, and I applaud you for it.
Well, there are a lot of people that can't
We're
get out.
speaking up for our neighborhood is what we're
Right.
speaking up
Right.
for, but we need time to talk to these people, get them
Yeah.
acclimated to what's going
Can I
on.
offer a suggestion and maybe ask a question here? I don't think we need to have the meeting first in order to contact an attorney. I would suggest that we may try and reach out to a local attorney and get advice on the matter. I would imagine, I'm guessing, that the first visit is usually not charged, it's an informative one. Maybe the attorney would come to a meeting of the group of our owners, and I think we've got time in 10 days to get that ball rolling.
But we need.
As I mentioned at the previous meeting, there are some flaws in the definition of the sewer district. It was claimed to be the Berkshire Hills development. There are several houses in that development that were not included in it. So there might be some legal technicalities that would allow some, delays, while those issues are researched in that. Does anybody have a suggestion, or where would we turn to get advice on who would be a good attorney for us?
I mean, I'd be happy to meet you after this meeting to tell you who I think.
Okay.
That would be great.
And just to let you know, I mean, we're following the code right now with the process, and I've talked to Chuck several times about it. So our hands are tied with that, we're following the process. But that doesn't constrain what the county does or what we do as a community. We have interaction, like I said, with Sharon Brown's office, and his aide contacted me back, and they're ferreting out information right now on funding, first of all, additional funding possibly, and also if there are some other mechanisms we can do. And I sent that out last week. Right now I'm crafting a letter to the EPA looking for other opportunities or alternatives to that, and I'm working on that with Jerry Morgan. So we're truly not blowing sunshine. We're really trying really hard
Well,
to get this done. And the true cost of this whole project is about $42,000 a resident, and big deal. It doesn't matter to you when you're paying 28, right?
you're darn right. When you can get a septic tank, the new approved septic tank, that you're using that unit throughout Geauga County. And I just talked to the guy by accident. I didn't know it at the time. I said, how much would one of these package individual systems cost that you're putting in Geauga County? He said, oh, around 20,000. And he says, and I told him about our development, and he says, oh my. He said, if I were to get a whole group of them together, he said, I could probably run around 16,000. In other words, if you have a whole group of them. And now you're trying to ram 28,000.
Well, plus the.
They're not ramming the EPA.
Well, he is.
No, it's the cost, but, you know,
It's
I
harder
would
to
rather
build
everybody put their own brand new septic
Brand new
in
system in.
for 16 than spend 28,
No, I
plus
understand.
connection fees closer to 38.
Well, not to mention the bi-monthly charge
Well,
that
right.
you get for the sewer and all that.
Right.
Sure.
I would rather do that. Your money ahead.
What's his name?
Hey, Steve, my recollection is you have the contact information for everybody in that project, right?
Oh, yeah,
That's something you can share with us?
It's public information, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah, because
yeah.
there's a lot of non-resident, or several non-resident owners
There are
there
a couple, yeah.
that us going door to door don't ever get to. All right, thank you.
Who's gonna buy a home in Geauga County with the threat of this happening, and that could happen
This is statewide, yeah.
to any of us?
Yeah.
And I think in Geauga County, and I'll stand up, if more people, not just the development stood up, you'd be a formidable entity.
Well, in our case, what they're asking for, $28,000, is over 25% the value of most of those homes in that area.
It would devastate me.
I mean, and that's who we're sticking up for, is our neighbors. I mean, we've got widows there that've lost their husbands, they're there by themselves. These guys don't understand that. They're living in $500,000 houses and oh, well.
Who's these guys? Stop it. I mean, it's easy to seek a fight. A fight is easy to seek, but I mean, we gotta have a common.
$28,000. What's it?
And Chief, the thing
Don't
is,
say.
it's not your fault. We understand that.
Well, I
The
don't.
thing is, it's not your fault. You're dealing the cards that have been dealt. The problem is our elected officials, we have to
That's
have
right.
a voice.
No, I agree with you.
We have to have a voice.
We're responsible.
I guess crap rolls downhill.
Yeah.
We need to force it back uphill.
Yeah.
You guys are bearing the brunt of that.
So we need to put a lift station in here?
Yes, we have to put another lift station in. But we're asking for your help and being our voice and helping us find the best route possible to fight this till the nth degree, because it's just not right.
I think the vote's already been taken, right? So this is,
It's not moot.
no, just these guys already took,
Yeah.
we're doing the discussion after the fact. I kind of think you guys are doing all you can. I go back to the origins of this.
We're still doing more.
To blame, but I think we need to move on with the idea of getting an attorney and
get,
let the meeting go on here.
Yes.
Yeah,
I can take a break.
Thank you.
we're done.
Are you sure?
I figured it out.
Can I be lead?
Yeah, do you wanna explain that real quick, Christine?
According to the section of the code, for the appeal, the two sections of the code that are referenced are 6117.09 and 6117.10 of Ohio Revised Code. Those are the codes that you're gonna wanna reference regarding the appeal.
Would you repeat those?
I sent those to
I wasn't
Chuck.
ready for that.
Okay,
Okay?
it's 6117.09 and 6117.10. Both of those sections of the code reference a process to file the appeal with probate court, that you have to give notice to the commissioners that you're filing the appeal, and there's possibly a bond amount that needs to be posted with the auditor's office. So look at those sections of the code, and that will tell you what you need to do.
But
And the
we
lawyer
need to
would
get
know
our
that.
attorney first.
Yeah, he would know that.
But we need this, held up until we can get something?
They've already voted on
We
it.
got
I,
that
I
discussed.
can't vote, I can't hold it up. It's part of the process that you have 10 days to file the appeal with probate court.
Do you have an idea what that bond might be? Typical,
We'll have to figure
The,
out.
with the
$5,
commissioners, the
$10.
commissioners, the commissioners have to set the bond amount, and we are referring, with legal representation right now on that amount.
thank you.
Now, you guys have an attorney for this too?
Our prosecutor's office,
Just
our
county.
APA.
Just the county is our prosecutor, is our attorney, that's.
Steve
that's
has
all
an
we have.
APA through the prosecutor's office, and the commissioners also have an APA through the prosecutor's office that they work with.
And then we need to have ours, so, correct?
Thank you.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Moving on.
Okay. Moving on, number 11. Yeah.
This is a reappointment for Ms. Marna Duckrum. She's been on the Sewer Governing Board. She requested to be reappointed